Emily Thompson woke up to the soft hum of her alarm clock on a crisp autumn morning in the small town of Willow Creek, Iowa. The sun filtered through the thin curtains of her dorm room, casting a warm glow on the cluttered desk where her biology textbooks lay open from the night before. She stretched slowly, her bare feet touching the cool hardwood floor, and let out a quiet sigh. At 20 years old, Emily was just another junior at the local community college, blending into the crowd of students hustling between classes and part-time jobs. She had mousy brown hair that she often tied back in a simple ponytail, hazel eyes that sparkled when she talked about plants and animals, and a gentle smile that made her friends feel at ease. She slipped into her favorite faded jeans and a soft flannel shirt, the kind that reminded her of her aunt's farmhouse back home. Aunt Clara had raised her since she was 8. After the car accident that took her parents, Emily paused for a moment, staring at the old photo on her nightstand of her mom and dad smiling on a beach vacation, their arms around a little girl with pigtails. It was a memory she held close, like a warm blanket on cold nights, but lately, that warmth felt distant. She shook her head gently, pushing the thought away. Today was just another day. Down in the campus cafeteria, the smell of fresh coffee and bacon greeted her. She grabbed a tray, loading it with oatmeal and a banana, and found her usual spot by the window. Her best friend, Sarah Jenkins, joined her soon after, her curly red hair bouncing as she sat down with a dramatic huff. "Morning, Em," Sarah said, her voice bright but laced with the familiar Midwestern drawl. "You look like you didn't sleep a wink." "Still stressing about that bio exam?" Emily nodded, stirring her oatmeal slowly. "Yeah, it's not just the exam, though. Lately, I've been feeling, I don't know, stuck. Like I'm going through the motions, but nothing feels right. Aunt Clara keeps saying I should think about transferring to a bigger school, but what if I'm not cut out for it? What if this is all there is?" Sarah reached across the table, giving Emily's hand a gentle squeeze. "Hey, you're smarter than half the professors here, and kinder, too. Remember that time you stayed up all night helping me with my essay? You'll figure it out." "We all do, eventually." Emily smiled faintly, appreciating the words, but deep down, the doubt lingered like a shadow. She had always been the quiet one, the girl who preferred long walks in the woods over parties, who dreamed of becoming a wildlife biologist but worried she'd never make it. Her parents' death had left a hole, one she filled with routines and small comforts, but it never quite went away. After breakfast, they walked to class together, the leaves crunching under their shoes, the air carrying the faint scent of rain from the night before. In the lecture hall, Professor Harlan droned on about ecosystems, his voice steady and monotonous. Emily took notes meticulously, her pen gliding across the page. But her mind wandered to the forest preserve just outside town, where she often went to clear her head. There, among the tall oaks and whispering streams, she felt a connection to something bigger. It was her escape from the pressure building in Sadia, the fear that her life would always be this ordinary, this predictable. After class, Emily headed to her part-time job at the local bookstore. The bell above the door tinkled as she entered, and Mr. Dawson, the owner, waved from behind the counter. "Afternoon, Emily." "Quiet day today. Mind stocking the new arrivals?" She nodded, losing herself in the rhythm of shelving books. The store was a cozy haven, with shelves crammed full of paperbacks and the faint smell of ink and dust. As she worked, she thought about her relatable struggle, the constant tug between wanting more and fearing change. Aunt Clara had called last night, her voice warm over the phone. "You're doing fine, honey, but don't forget to dream a little bigger." Emily wanted to, but how? She paused, holding a book about hidden histories, and wondered if her own story had more to it than she knew. The afternoon sun dipped lower, painting the sky in soft oranges and pinks. Emily finished her shift and decided to take that walk in the woods. She grabbed her backpack, slipped in a water bottle and her notebook, and headed out. The path to the preserve was familiar, winding through quiet neighborhoods where kids played on lawns and dogs barked lazily. She breathed deeply, the fresh air filling her lungs, easing the knot in her chest. In the forest, the world slowed down. Tall trees arched overhead, their leaves rustling like a gentle whisper. Emily found her favorite spot by the creek, sitting on a moss-covered log. She watched the water trickle over smooth stones, the sound soothing, like a lullaby. Birds chirped softly in the branches, and a squirrel scampered nearby, pausing to eye her curiously. Here, her problems felt smaller. She pulled out her notebook and sketched a fern, her pencil strokes deliberate and calm. Maybe this is enough, she murmured to herself, but a part of her yearned for something unexpected, a sign that her life held more adventure. As the light began to fade, Emily stood to head back. That's when she heard a distant thrum, like thunder rolling in from afar. She tilted her head, listening. It grew louder, rhythmic, mechanical. Not thunder, but something else. Helicopters? In Willow Creek? She shrugged it off at first, assuming it was a news chopper or maybe a medical flight, but the sound intensified, vibrating through the trees, shaking leaves loose. Curious, she followed the path back toward campus. As she emerged from the woods, her eyes widened. In the open field behind the dorms, usually empty except for occasional frisbee games, two massive black helicopters were descending. They were sleek, powerful machines, their rotors slicing the air with a deafening roar. Students gathered at the edges, phones out, murmuring in confusion. Emily froze, her heart pounding gently, not in fear, but in bewilderment. The helicopters touched down gracefully, the grass flattening beneath them. The doors slid open, and men in crisp military uniforms stepped out, their boots thudding on the ground. One of them, a tall man with silver hair and a kind face, scanned the crowd. His eyes locked on Emily. He approached slowly, his steps measured, as if not to startle her. "Emily Thompson?" he asked, his voice steady over the dying whine of the engines. She nodded, her throat dry. "Yes. That's me." "What's going on?" He extended a hand. "I'm Colonel James Harlan, in no relation to your professor, I assure you." A small smile softened his features. "We've been looking for you. Please, come with us. It's about your family." Emily's mind reeled. Family? Aunt Clara was her only family, but she followed him, her legs moving on autopilot. As they neared the helicopters, she saw Ida painted on the side in bold white letters, Emily Thompson, her name, clear as day, on these imposing black hawks. A gentle twist settled in her stomach, not sharp, but profound, like turning a page in a book she thought she knew. Inside the helicopter, the seats were leather, the air cool. Colonel Harlan sat across from her as they lifted off smoothly, the ground falling away below. Willow Creek shrank to a patchwork of greens and browns. "Your father," he began, his tone gentle, "wasn't just an ordinary man. He was General Robert Thompson, a key figure in national security. He and your mother went into hiding after a threat to their lives." "The accident?" "It wasn't an accident. It was staged to protect you." Emily's breath caught. She stared out the window, the landscape blurring. "Protected me? From what?" "A rival faction. Years ago, your father left something for you, a legacy. Not just money, but a role and something bigger. He wanted you to have a normal life until you were ready. But recent events. We had to find you now." The words washed over her slowly, like waves on a shore. Her father, a general, hiding? It explained the gaps in her memories. The way Aunt Clara sometimes looked at her with unspoken sadness. As they flew, Colonel Harlan showed her documents of photos of her parents in uniform, letters addressed to her. One, in her father's handwriting, read, "My dear Emily, if you're reading this, know that we loved you more than anything. You're strong, like your mother. Use that strength to make the world better." Tears welled in her eyes, warm and quiet. The helicopter's hum became a backdrop to her thoughts. She wasn't just a student anymore. She had a purpose, a connection to her past that filled the hole she'd carried for so long. They landed at a secure facility hours later, the sun setting in a blaze of color. Aunt Clara was there, waiting, her arms open. "I couldn't tell you, honey. It was for your safety." They hugged, the embrace long and healing. Over the next days, Emily learned more. Her father's work involved environmental protection, as secret projects to safeguard ecosystems from hidden threats. It aligned with her passion for biology. She wasn't being forced into anything, it was a choice. "You can walk away," Colonel Harlan said. "But if you stay, you could change things." Emily chose to stay. She trained gently, learning about her heritage while keeping ties to her old life. Sarah visited, wide-eyed but supportive. "This is wild," But it's you is saving the world, one tree at a time. In the end, Emily stood on a hill overlooking a vast forest, the wind soft on her face. She felt whole, the pieces of her life fitting together. The helicopters that had upended her world now symbolized hope, not disruption. She whispered to the breeze, "Thank you, Dad." And with that, she stepped forward, ready for whatever came next, a life of quiet strength and meaningful change.